Welcome back to Pastry Maestra. I'm Tereza and today I'm making gluten-free raspberry mousse cakes. Gluten-free. Have you noticed how this phrase becomes more and more common in our everyday language and in our minds? Naturally, I'm not immune to this tendency, so it made me think, what is the reason for this group of proteins to become so popular? And here starts the controversy. First, let me say that the word gluten comes from Latin, meaning to stick. Gluten is found in wheat, barley and rye, and it's the only known protein found in our food that is completely indigestible. Not only that, its indestructible molecules can slip through the intestinal lining. We call this phenomena a leaky gut, resulting in triggering the response from the immune system, and that's how the troubles begin. If the immune system locks onto gluten as an enemy, every time it enters the body, the immune system does its thing, including killing intestinal cells. The result, celiac disease, causes severe gastrointestinal symptoms that can be avoided only by cutting gluten out of the diet completely. Also, there is this thing called non-celiac gluten sensitivity, NCGS. This means that a person does not suffer from celiac disease as such, but has some symptoms like bloating, gas or abdominal pain, headache, brain fog, etc. And all this goes away with a gluten-free diet. However, many people can happily consume food with gluten every day without any problems. Now what? Well, like I've said, it's a huge controversy. On one hand, only thanks to gluten's trends, we can happily munch our crispy, chewy breads, our pizzas, our croissants, and many other super yummy things. On the other hand, some people should completely stay away from gluten because it makes them sick. So, what can we do? What should we do? Honestly, I don't know. Because of that, here on my site, I'm trying to make both sides happy. So you will find a lot of my recipes with wheat flour, but like today, I'm also giving my best to make all of you, my dear non-gluten sweetness lovers, happy. If you don't believe me, just check the links in the description. I have quite a few sweet treats for you. So let's add another one to that list by teaching you how to make awesome gluten-free raspberry mousse cakes. As usual, the recipe is on my site and the link is down below. To make gluten-free almond cookies, I'll place almond flour, powdered sugar, and butter cut in cubes into a food processor. I will pulse until the dough sticks together. I've placed the pastry onto a sheet of parchment paper. I'll cover it with another sheet of parchment paper. Then I will flatten it a bit with my palms. I will roll out my pastry to 3 mm, which is 1/8 of an inch thickness, using my adjustable rolling pin. Then I will place it in the fridge for about 30 minutes to chill. My pastry is chilled. I will cut out 8 cm, which is about 3 inches in diameter, discs. I've placed my cookies onto a paper-lined baking tray, and now I'll bake them at 180 degrees centigrade, which is 350 degrees Fahrenheit, for about 10 minutes until golden. To make raspberry mousse, I'll soak gelatin in cold water. As soon as my gelatin softens, I will take it out and squeeze to get rid of the excess water. I've put raspberry puree into a bowl. I'll add lemon juice and sugar and stir with a whisk. I'll heat up this mixture in the microwave. My puree is hot. I'll add soaked gelatin and stir until it melts. I will leave this mixture to cool down a bit. I've put cream into a stand mixer fitted with whisk attachment, and I'll whisk on medium speed until soft peaks form. I will add lukewarm raspberry mixture into the whipped cream. I will mix with whisk until it becomes uniform. I've transferred my mousse into a piping bag without tip, and now I will fill my 5 by 5 by 5 centimeters, which is 2 by 2 by 2 inches cube mold, until my cubes are filled about 2/3 of their height. Then I'll put everything in the freezer until it sets. To make raspberry jelly, I'll soak gelatin in cold water. As soon as my gelatin softens, I will take it out and squeeze to get rid of the excess water. I've put raspberry puree into a bowl. I'll add lemon juice and sugar and stir with a whisk. I'll heat up this mixture in the microwave. My puree is hot. I'll add soaked gelatin and stir until it melts. I will leave this mixture to cool down a bit. I will pour raspberry jelly onto frozen raspberry mousse until I fill the molds all the way to the top. Then I'll put everything in the freezer until it sets. My cake is frozen, so now I'll remove it from the silicone mold. I've placed my mousse and jelly onto the almond cookie. Now I'll decorate it with some meringue cookies and fresh raspberries. There, my delicious gluten-free raspberry mousse cakes are done. Enjoy!
Oh baby, you are so sweet, so delicious and yummy, so good to eat. I wanna lick you, feel your sweetness on my lips. Forever and ever, you'll stay on my hips.
I'm Teresa. Thanks for watching my video. I hope you liked it. If you want to stay in touch, follow me on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram, and of course, visit my site where you can find elaborate posts with lots of pictures, additional information and recipes that follow my every video. Also, on my site you can download my free 365 pages ebook, The Pastry Chef, and maybe buy me a macaron, if you think that I've earned it. Now, before you go, please hit the like button and subscribe to my YouTube channel. That really helps a lot. Finally, and this is the most important thing, don't forget to create sweetness every day, because sweetness is happiness. See you in my next video. Bye!